Hi, today I am going to give you a screencast on how to write a claim. I have a sample argument on light and plant growth. Two biology students, Christine and Andrew, set up an experiment to help them determine how light affects plant growth. The students placed these bean seedlings in three different locations. One was in a dark closet where over the course of 3 days, the bean only grew 5 centimeters, but then stopped. Some were placed on a countertop away from the window. They grew 10 centimeters in 5 days. And then last but not least, bean seedlings were placed on a windowsill with full sunlight for 5 days and grew 15 centimeters. In the experiment, they both kind of discussed some of the pieces of evidence regarding how plants grow. Obviously, the plant that had full sunlight on the countertop for 5 days grew the most. So we know that plants need sunlight, but they don't always need sunlight because we did show growth away from the window as well as in the dark. So one of the things you're going to be encountering is a question every time you're writing a claim. The question for this one is, how does light affect plant growth? Now, your claim has to answer the question. One sentence. That's it. We don't need all of your pieces of evidence or anything you know. You just need to answer the question. So this claim stated, light provides energy that plants need to grow. That answers the question of how does light affect plant growth? Now, the evidence piece is something that we can use to support the claim. In the reading that I gave you, you have data here, which they have identified as no light, initial growth, then death, 5 centimeters over 3 days, then died, moderate light, moderate growth, 10 centimeters, 5 days, full light, highest growth, 15 centimeters, 5 days. So these are pieces of evidence that were pulled from the reading. You guys would be pulling it from a lab activity, from notes, maybe from information that was given to you in the claim. All of that can be used as evidence. Again, doesn't need to be sentences, can just be pieces that support it. Try and get as much evidence as you can. The more, the better. Now, last but not least is the reasoning. This is the most important part. This is what links your evidence to your claim. And this is what we as your teachers care about the most. So I've broken it into 4 parts. The evidence shows, I know, I can apply, and therefore I can conclude. So in this case, I wrote that the evidence shows that increasing amounts of light produce increasing amounts of growth in seedlings. The evidence also shows that seedlings were able to survive only for a short time without light. So that kind of sums up the evidence without specifically using those numbers. Next part is I knows. So these are facts, concepts, things that in your case as a student you've gotten out of the notes, things your teacher said, factual information. Sunlight is a form of energy. Fact. You had to find that somewhere else. It wasn't in this paragraph. Plants need light to make their own food to survive. Photosynthesis. Fact. Seeds can store energy. Fact. So things you know are things you've learned. Next part is I can apply. So this is big ideas that connect the concepts. For instance, energy is required for all processes in life. Energy can be converted from one form to another. Again, these are kind of factual pieces of information that apply to what you know. And last but not least is kind of your conclusion. So this is what is most important. From the evidence, we can infer that plants can grow from seeds for a short time without light, but they need light to continue growing. We saw that when the plant in the dark stopped growing after 5 days. Brighter light causes plants to grow faster than dimmer light. We know that light provides energy to plants. So the plant that was closest to the sunlight exposure grew the most and fastest. Therefore, seeds must have some way of storing energy for a new plant. Once that energy is used up, the plant can no longer grow unless it has light. So this part right here we learned when the plant in the dark grew but then stopped. Plants must have light because it provides energy photosynthesis, which allows plants to make food. So please use this as a means to help you write your screencast today.